Hello, I am Oriol and today I am presenting the ArchiTech tool. ArchiTech is an Eclipse plugin to aid software architects during the decision-making process of designing an architecture. ArchiTech uses projects to represent different architectural design projects. Architectural knowledge can be shared or reused between projects of the same domain. However, knowledge is somewhat dependent on the domain. For instance, a web application will use a different knowledge base than a desktop application. Creating a project follows the same process as creating any other type of Eclipse project. Simply go to the File menu, select New, and select ArchiTech Project. Fill in the basic details and click on Finish. The tool incorporates two perspectives which correspond to the two modules of ArchiTech. The CRUD module, which can be accessed using the CRUD perspective, and the Reasoning module, which can be accessed using the ArchiTech Reasoning perspective. The CRUD perspective contains a view for each main concept in the architectural knowledge: decisions and elements. In each of these views, we can manage the architectural knowledge by using the common operations: create, edit, and delete. Additionally, the tool includes drag and drop and filter facilities to improve the usability of the tool. The reasoning perspective contains the views used during the Quark method. The first step in the method, namely architectural specification, is the definition of non-functional requirements, which is done using the quality attributes view and the element properties view. The quality attributes view allows the architect to select which quality goals are relevant or important for the given project, according to its non-functional requirements. We can select a quality property and set it to necessary or maybe to desirable. In a similar fashion, the element properties view is used to define which properties are relevant and which are not, and allows also stating a condition over these properties. We can select or unselect properties and set values or conditions over them. The last view used in the first step of the method is the constraint view, used to set constraints over architectural elements in the form of ban or use an element. We can select an element and ban it, or maybe set it to use it. The second step in the Quark method, namely the decisions inference, is done using the decisions maker view. The interface contains a button that starts the inference process. Once the search finishes, the view shows a prioritized list with all the decisions and a quality value associated with each. Moreover, the recommended set of decisions is shown in green. The quality depends on how each decision impacts on the non-functional requirements and the incompatibilities or user constraints violations. Also, a description is associated to each decision, with more insight about its impact and incompatibilities. The third step, namely the decision making, consists in selecting which decisions to make. For example, we can select one of the recommended decisions and add it. The architect may not select the recommended decisions. She has freedom to select her preferred ones. Each time a decision is selected, the impact of all the selected decisions is shown in the quality attributes monitor. The last step, namely the architectural refinement, consists on adapt the quality attribute selection and element properties conditions and recompute the list of decisions to reflect the new situation, where the new evaluation will depend on currently selected decisions and changes made on the requirements. We can click on the recompute button and the search process will start again. The architect can decide to execute as many recomputations as she feels necessary until she is satisfied, and then end the process, obtaining a list of selected decisions to make.